And baby, you could be my Nancy Drew, but it ain't no mystery that I fancy you. And I could be the Shaggy to your Scooby-Doo. Me and you together, baby, we can't lose. And baby, you could be my Nancy Drew, but it ain't no mystery that I fancy you. And I could be the Shaggy to your Scooby-Doo. Me and you together, baby, we can't lose. My Nancy Drew.
Hey everyone, my name is Hugh Miller, and I'm your host for the NDW Podcast. This is the second episode of Season 2, and my gosh, we have got an amazing show lined up for you guys. Unfortunately, we are down one co-host. Eli was unavailable for today's recording. He has had some he's been pretty busy for the past month, and the recording just happened to land on a day that did not work. However, we still have Victoria here, so welcome back, Victoria, to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you. It is always a pleasure to be here. I am excited very much for today's episode.
Oh, me too. I'm getting giddy. I've been giddy about this all day, the last 2 weeks, really. And I'll tell you why. So for the first time on our show, we have a special guest. And this person is someone that I personally have been inspired by for good long time, several years, and have enjoyed seeing the content that they've produced both while at HeR Interactive and the new content they're currently releasing on their personal YouTube channel. And for those that haven't already guessed, or for those that may have just looked at the title of the episode, I'm incredibly excited and honored to welcome Calina Herman from StoryRetold to the show. Welcome, Kalina.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited just to be a part of the Nancy Drew community again, but in the sense of a fan. So
oh yeah, totally. Well, first off, I feel, I've said it so many times, but I feel in person I need to say, well, not in person, but over Discord, I feel like I need to say thank you once again for everything you did for HeR Interactive and for the fans. You really did bring so much enthusiasm to everything you made for the character, for the games, and everyone who crossed paths with you, be it in real life or virtually. And I'm just so stoked to have you on the show today. It's so awesome.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It was an absolute joy to be in the seat of HeR Interactive, just engaging with the fans for so many years. It was my dream job, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, you live the dream of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of fans, and that's not something that everyone can say. So even though I'm going to call you Little Jackalope every once in a while, because that's just what I know you by.
That's what we grew up knowing you as.
Yeah, exactly. Even though Kalina did work at HeR Interactive, the show is no longer. I almost said no longer. The show is not affiliated and never has been affiliated with HeR Interactive or anything that they've done. And the show may contain spoilers because we don't know what's going to come up. Something might come out and we might spoil the culprit. And just so you guys know, there may be spoilers as always. I'm just so excited for this. And we're just going to talk Nancy Drew. We're going to talk about Kalina at HeR Interactive and what she's doing now. And that's about it. It's going to be great. So to start off, Kalina, you were at HeR Interactive for over 10 years. Do you want to talk about sort of how you got started with them, even as far back as being on the advisory panel and up until when you left?
Oh my goodness, it's such a long story. It's pretty much my life. Really. I mean, I started playing the games when I was 11. I started testing the games at HeR Interactive and beta testing them when I was 14. And then I went to college, and at the end of college, because I had connections at HeR Interactive from advisory paneling and beta testing, they knew me. And so at the end of college, I asked, hey, would you take me as an intern? And they're like, yeah, sure, let's go through the formal process. And they hired me. And that's when I became game production intern for 3 months. And then they learned that I had some Photoshop skills and they needed some extra help in their marketing. So I came back for 1 week in September to help officially test, like hard test, Shadow at the Water's Edge.
Oh, nice.
Because they lost one of their testers because they had to leave early for something else. I came in, tested for a week as an official tester, and then that's when they actually learned I had Photoshop skills. And they called me back into marketing. I got a marketing internship end of November. It was snowing the day I was supposed to start, and like no one was in the office. I can't talk. When I showed up, but I was too excited. I took the treacherous trip through the snow in Washington to get to the office because I wanted to be there. and interned for about a year, or no, not a year, 7 months, really. And that's when they're like, you've been doing a pretty good job. We need the help because more marketing people have left to bigger and greater things. And so that would be Jared, who hired me full time as a marketing coordinator. And I was marketing coordinator from 2011 until like 2018, 2019. My title slightly changed to marketing and production coordinator because I got to do a little bit more production behind the scenes stuff for Midnight in Salem. And then I left what was it? June 14th. So it was like the anniversary of my 10-year time at HeR Interactive. And I'll give you a tip. In the career world, in the white collar career world, 10 years is too long to be at one company. Like, you're supposed to move from job to job, add experience, gain contacts, and grow and just move. But it was HeR Interactive. It was my dream job. That's where I wanted to be.
Exactly.
But the time came where I just needed to challenge myself more. And so that's why I left.
So for a piggyback question, unless if you don't mind, Hugh.
No, please go ahead.
So when you were like, what was a typical work day like for you? Was every day different, or did you have like kind of a set routine? Like you would come in and your checklist, per se, was always kind of the same?
Well, it really depended on which season we were talking about. So I'm going to give two separate answers. The first 5 years I was there in marketing, when we were doing 2 games a year, that was really, really busy. Like, we were always doing something exciting. There was very little downtime. And so what a day would look like during the quiet part of the seasons, about halfway in between each game launch, I would come in, I would check my email, I would get an extra coffee or breakfast because I couldn't eat so early in the morning, so I'd eat at work. Needed to be accomplished. Usually it would end up being some graphics that I needed to make for social media, some sales. Usually during the downtime, it was focusing on contests and promotions and creating fun stuff, just fun stuff to fill the online world to get attention. It was more of our outreach time to get more players interested in our games. On a busy part of the season, when we were in game launch, it would be, oh my gosh, we got to triage everything that's going on, because what comes first, the chicken or the egg? We can't have art for social media if we don't have the cover illustration done yet. So we got to communicate with a cover illustrator to make sure that it was coming along well. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to work on some other things. Oh my gosh, I did so many different things, from social media to graphics to contests to video editing, amateur sleuth blog videos, writing the blog. There was always something going on, so that was a daily thing. Puzzles, and also I got to be a part of several walkthrough meetings behind the scenes, which was so fun.
So awesome.
So fun. Yeah. But it was a little bit slower the last 5 years, because we only released a couple of games, Codes and Clues and Midnight in Salem. So we did a lot of I did a lot of like production related work, like early meetings for the game, or some, how would I describe it? I mean, we worked on like the script, or collecting assets, or gathering ideas, or delivering things to people. It would sound like boring stuff, but we did a lot behind the scenes. Not much to talk about, but yeah.
Yeah, that's such an interesting topic, Midnight in Salem, especially on your end. And I personally have about like an endless list of questions, and I've talked about it in my videos tons and tons of times. And I want to ask like all of them, and I know we don't have all the time in the world, but I also know that you can't talk about all of them, but or even answer all of them properly. But I think, yeah, I know for a lot of people, it was, and again, I just want to more say this rather than ask this, but I think for a lot of people, even for you guys, the lack of, maybe not the lack, but the the slowdown of communication about the new title coming out was, I think it was just such a drastic change from the previous games that a lot of people just were really, and I'm sure you guys dealt with this on like a day-to-day basis, was just how many people were just like, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? It's never coming out. I can't believe HeR Interactive has done this. And I guess I could bring a question out of that, but how was that for you guys to deal with that every day for like 4.5, 5 years?
It was disheartening. I'm going to be honest. It was hard because there were things happening behind the scenes. I just couldn't talk about it. And it was sad. It was like the communication style definitely changed, but that's because of how secret everything was supposed to be kept for Midnight in Salem, because there were a lot of uncertainties. I mean, obviously we knew that we were switching game engines, but we didn't know what the whole process was going to look like. We had a fine-tuned, well-oiled machine when it came to our proprietary engine. Sure, we knew exactly how it worked and what the time frame would be, and what to, how long to spend on a certain art piece before we move on to the next thing. But we didn't know that with Midnight in Salem. We didn't know how long it was going to take to finish the characters. Like, we were working on the characters until, oh goodness, so close to the release date, because we were working so hard to make them at least acceptable. There were so many moving parts, so many learning curves, and I think that's why we didn't want to say anything, because let's say when we were baking a cake, if we don't follow the same recipe that we're familiar with, then we're not sure it's going to turn out the way we expected.
Right.
If that makes sense. So we weren't sure if Midnight in Salem was going to be as close as we wanted it to be in our heads. So it went through so many hurdles and changes and learning curves that it was just hard to pinpoint and hard to share. Well, okay, here's what Judge Danforth looks like in concept, but, he might change 3 times just because we can't get his model proportions right to the environment.
Right.
For example.
So I think, I've got a bit of a theory on how things went following the release of Sea of Darkness up until Midnight in Salem release. And my thought, based on having read articles and seeing what past employees have said, and my understanding was that, or my idea was that you guys released Sea of Darkness, and then because of the layoffs that happened before Sea of Darkness released, that caused a pretty big halt in the production of Midnight in Salem, or the original version of Midnight in Salem, and then as far as I know, Penny Milliken wanted to go and I think try out a different direction, which is where Codes and Clues came from, and then I think the development of that I think that took up most of the time between the end of C and then finding a new company to work with to make Midnight in Salem, which I'm going to guess you guys found the company in late 2017, which is, I believe, why you guys put out the press release saying we're targeting spring 2019. That's my guess. You don't have to confirm or deny any of that, but I've had that theory that that's the timeline of how things went, just based on information-ish.
Yeah, I mean, you probably have a good assumption based on your investigations than I have, because I do not know when
really?
it was we found Mapumi and Toy Box Studios. I believe some of the people there were previous contacts or had already been in communication with the leadership. But I guess there was a lot of business things that I was not privy to.
Right.
And not to say that was a bad thing, but I'm not sure when that all transpired. However, Codes and Clues was a big focus for us, only because I know I was involved with that and marketing that.
Right.
So we might have been in communication with Mapumi during Codes and Clues, but I'm not really sure.
Okay, interesting.
So I have a question about, I think you mentioned a little bit ago that you were involved a little bit in the production of Midnight in Salem. what are you allowed to say, like what aspects of production you had influence in?
Yes. Yes. I did get to do like a lot of research, mostly from my special perspective of I know the fans really well.
Nice.
So I did a lot of asset and information gathering first to give to the team to base their design off of. So I gathered everything from the Wikipedia or internal Wikipedia of Sea of Darkness, Silent Spy, Ghost of Thornton Hall, and I shared what those key we picked C because it's the newest, but I picked some of the most popular Nancy Drew games, and I pointed out the areas that fans really, really liked. And I tried my best to explain a proper balance between like puzzles and how much our players loved the story. So a lot of what would be the right word? A lot of advocating to the brand for the fans. So I did a lot
I
of
could
that.
say for fans, we appreciate that you would go to bat for us in that way.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh, I can be quite vicious in an argument, so I was trying to maintain a good business sense in it, but I also had to respect the leader's decisions.
Of course, yeah.
So, I mean, I think, oh goodness, what would be a really fun story for Midnight in Salem? I think I was really pushing for some logic puzzles because that was one of the top reported, top commented, top scoring in the surveys puzzles that fans wanted was logic puzzles. So I think one of the cool things that was implemented was some 3D movement and object manipulation in mid. Anyways, I'm digressing. Let me back up. No, I also worked on reviewing and correcting the script and making sure that Nancy wasn't saying anything or doing anything that was out of character. Unfortunately, a few things did slip through with the Hardy Boys that were a little continuity related. It wasn't a big deal, but there were things that were missed. We were running so fast with the script, so many edits and turnarounds. So I was involved with the script. I actually got to go to some recording sessions, which was really fun.
Oh, so
that
sick.
sounds so amazing.
It was, I'm kind of, you kind of get starstruck, even though I work for the company, but you see all these actors like, oh my gosh, you're the voice of Joe Hardy.
Yeah.
I absolutely, can I have your
Yes.
autograph? So I actually got my picture taken. This was years ago, though.
Right.
Jonah von Spreeken. I did get my picture taken with Jonah von Spreeken, who did the voice of so many characters, plus Freddie
yeah.
Hardy. But anyway, I digress. I did, yeah, those are the things I did with Midnight in Salem that come to mind at the moment.
Are you at all allowed to even tease about how much work was done on the original version that the old team was working on? Or is that like an off-topic sort of deal?
I don't know how much I can say. There was the concept. I know that was done because obviously we worked on the teaser trailer, which you see at
Right.
the end of C. That was done. I know some basic gray box modeling was done for the town.
Okay.
And I do know that we switched around a couple of characters in their locations. The story is actually pretty close to the original, with a few.
Oh, it is, eh?
A few tweaks to motive, means, and opportunities for some
Right.
characters. So those were switched up just a little bit.
Interesting. Okay. That's good to know. So nearly 15 games launched while you were working as an official employee at HeR
Wow,
Interactive.
really that much?
I think I counted because you were there. So you said 2011 you officially started?
Yeah, so I was there for Trail of the Twister and Secrets Can Kill Remaster. That's that year.
Oh,
And
we're
then
going
I
back
was
that far then. 2, 4,
23,
6.
24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and Codes and Clues. Am I missing anything else? Oh, I was there for Shadow Ranch Mobile as well.
Oh, that's
1,
right.
2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. About 14.
That's
Unless
insane.
I'm missing something.
Nonetheless, around 15 games. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Was there a game out of the bunch that was really really memorable to work on or to help market, or just sort of see all the behind the scenes for?
Yes. I think so Shadow at the Water's Edge it is very dear to my heart because I was in game production during that game. And I actually I was very proud of this. I got to do a little bit of sound editing for the game.
Oh yeah.
So I would search through our audio library, and I was tasked to find the right audio for the pachinko parlor, and also in the
cool.
baths. In the baths, we had a very short collection of arcade sounding sound effects, so that was a very fast project.
Yeah.
To get with stock audio. But when it came to like in the baths for Shadow at the Water's Edge, I actually did some audio editing for the wicker baskets. This is so silly. We didn't have anything for wicker baskets, but we did have a wicker rocking chair sound effects. So you have that kind of sound effects. I can't really do it very well, but I had to splice that up so that it would just sound like a creak or
That's
creak.
amazing.
So those sound effects for the wicker baskets when you pull them out at the baths, that was me.
Right. Oh, that's so sick.
But when it comes to marketing, I think my favorite season was the launch of Ghost of Thornton Hall, because we were promoting a really fun game that people were hyped about, and it was just so much fun. And it was also we were also teasing out the Silent Spy at that time, so it was a double hitter. That season was probably my favorite.
I remember when those games came out very well because we were in the midst of. I was finishing up grade 7, and we were getting ready to move out to where we're living right now. And I remember seeing the teaser trailer for Ghost of Thornton Hall, I think in one of the HeR interactive videos you made for the Amateur Sleuth blog. I think they were like sort of tweaking it or something in the video. And then I finished the Deadly Device, and I saw the full thing there, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then sometime later, the official trailer for it came out. And I'll tell you what, I watched it. I'm like 12 at the time, something like that. Yeah. And I actually couldn't get to sleep that night. Not because of excitement, I was actually terrified. And then I remember when the game came out, because I think I ordered Ghost of Thornton Hall, or pre-ordered it, and then I also ordered Shadow at the Water's Edge. But when I ordered it, it shipped the bonus edition of both games, and so I was excited about that. And then when the Silent Spy came out, I remember or getting that shipped here, and it came about a month late because I'm in Canada. And then I was so excited, I posted a picture about me getting the game on Instagram. I was like, no way, this is so cool. But that's me digressing about the my view of the launches of those games. But
can I share just one of
my
most proudest moments?
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to brag about it, but I am
brag away.
I'm very proud of it. I did the trailer for Ghost of Thornton Hall and for Silent Spy.
Oh, so good.
Teaser?
No, the official trailers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, honestly, I've seen you post about this before, Kalina. Like, I think the official trailer for Thornton Hall is probably my favorite out of all of them. It's so good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think both the teaser and trailer for Thornton Hall are probably the strongest in the whole series.
So good.
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah. It was a ton of fun.
So would you say that either Ghost of Thornton Hall or Shadow at the Water's Edge are the games that you're the most attached to, either as a fan or as through the lens of employee? Or would there be another game that you would say it'd be like you're most emotionally attached to that?
Shadow at the Water's Edge, for sure. Just because it was the most memorable time. I guess because it was my internship, I was like starstruck every single day I came in, and I was immersed in Shadow at the Water's Edge. I think we got tired of listening to the music because we were in the game, bug testing and checking sound effects and checking scenarios and so many different things. So I was in the game so much during that season. So Shadow at the Water's Edge for me was probably the closest.
So to wrap up the HeR, although I could talk about, if we had endless time, I would want to just talk about your time at HeR Interactive forever. But just to wrap it up, because of our own time constraints, how difficult after 10 or over 10 years, how difficult was it to leave HeR Interactive?
Oh my gosh, it was so hard. I didn't really want to leave.
Right.
It was practically my whole life. I've been there for so long, and it felt like home.
Yeah.
Because even if we were in different offices, that headspace, that community, the fans, the content, I knew all of it so well, and I knew the demographic. I knew what to do. I was proficient in the tasks that I had. So, oh my gosh, I can't even say anything more than it was so hard. It was so hard. And I mean, I can't let go entirely because I still want to be a part of the community and the games, and I'm clamoring just to hear more information. I still have people that I talk to and in HeR Interactive, just to touch base because I'm still kind of colleagues, friends. Oh, my computer just quieting down. Am I still there? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, it's something that I'm still counting myself as a part of. And like I mentioned in my blog post, I might have the chance, and I may just do so, to contract work again with HeR Interactive just as a brand specialist and someone who can do some extra side tasks to help production behind the scenes for the next game.
So what is can you tell us like what's next for you? Are you just kind of enjoying being a mom for now, or do you have like a plan for your next step?
I have so many things I want to do and so little time to do it. At this very moment, I am a mom full-time and a full-time worker for Microsoft.
Oh, cool.
It's indirectly because I'm working with a vendor company, but we work on Xbox.
Oh, nice.
Maybe you've heard of Xbox. I don't know.
Yeah.
The name's familiar.
Yeah.
It's a little familiar. Yeah, I'm a project manager now, so I'm dealing with a lot of. I take projects, I take information, summarize it all up, make sure I've got all the content I need, and then pass it on to the right person, review it, and say, "Good to go. Let's publish it. Let's make it work." So I get to do a lot of stuff that is challenging and different and not as creative. So that's why I really wanted to beef up my time in my hobbies, I should say, with StoryRetold. I want to be playing more games. I want to be creating content. I want to do art and crafts and see if I can't sell it someday. So, oh my goodness, so many things in the future. Maybe I'll do a podcast. I don't know. Live streaming. I don't know. There's a whole bunch that I want to do, just so little time. So I'm slowly working on it, just working on my website first. Got to get the base done. Oh, my biggest project right now is I'm trying to build my own version of a Nancy Drew wiki about the games.
Oh, wow.
On my website, and it's taking forever. And Hugh, thank you very much for this was like in January when you provided some insight to Message in a Haunted Mansion.
I forgot about that.
I'm trying to work on a trigger list.
Yeah.
So when you complete a task for Rose in Haunted Mansion, that triggers the availability of the next task. A list that
some speedrunners could probably help you with a list like that.
Oh, yeah.
I need to ask them. That would certainly help. Yeah, those details I think could be cool to find. Because that's what the message boards were pretty much all about. It's like people asking, hey, what do I do next? I did this, and that. What's supposed to happen next? Aside from talking to all the characters and re-exploring everything, whatever that last big item was should have triggered the availability of something else.
Right.
Oh, exactly.
That's something I'm very slowly working on.
Big task.
Yeah. It'll take years.
That's a great transition into the next set of questions, and because I did want to talk about StoryRetold, and so you started that. You started uploading to that channel back in 2017, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So could you tell us about the process, or just sort of what spurred the decision of starting the channel, and why it's called StoryRetold?
Yeah. What inspired me was Day 9 TV on
Oh,
Twitch
yes.
when they
Oh yes.
played Shadow at the Water's Edge, and
So
I
good.
was bawling with laughter
It's
at
so
their
good.
gameplay because guess what? The Nancy Drew games are not easy. They're not. They're really hard,
Especially
and
when
they're
they're
gonna
drinking the
surprise
whole time,
you.
yeah.
Yes. But I realized that uh, with who knows when the next game was going to come out, Midnight in Salem. I didn't know when the next, when I'll be able to be as creative in creating content as fast and as much as I was with 2 game launches a year. So I wanted to do something fun. I wanted to practice my video editing skills in a space where if I messed up, there's only maybe 10 people watching instead of thousands.
Yeah.
But Story Retold, I thought a long time about that name, and I know you need to have kind of a unique YouTube channel and maybe even a story behind it.
Right.
And so I wanted it to be generic enough that I was not too niched down or niched,
Right.
locked into any one topic. So I decided to call it Story Retold for the sake of books and games that have great stories uh, that I like to experience and re-experience over and over and
Of
over
course.
again.
Okay,
Like
cool.
the Nancy Drew games over and over again.
That's awesome. Okay. And so you mentioned your website and how it has exponentially grown, I guess. Because I remember I looked up your website before you updated it to what it is now. And it was pretty simple and just had like very, to put it loosely, like basic information, I guess, about you and who you were. And seeing what it has become now, was that always sort of like part of the plan, was to bring a website into it, or did you originally just see it being a YouTube channel?
So way back in college, they highly encouraged to have an online portfolio presence since
Right.
I had a sort of art degree, kind of an art degree, visual communications. So it's art
Oh,
and
okay.
communications together. They really encouraged that, and I never really got around to it because, hey, I got my dream job. Why do I need to make a website? So, I
Exactly.
mean, I built my website just for the sake of practicing WordPress and HTML since I was dabbling that for my actual job,
Right.
and I wanted to get better at coding, and I wanted to understand how plugins worked and all of the technical stuff behind the scenes. So I worked more on my website. Um, and then when I started adding more videos to Story Retold, I thought, hey, other big YouTubers have an online website presence. Let's add that to the mix, and then also, why don't we just throw in a wiki and just port all of my information, my knowledge into one place so that it's one place where people can go for Nancy Drew games.
Oh, so
Not that
awesome.
there's a million other places you can go, but
Yeah.
offer what I have to the world.
Right. That's so, I guess, yeah, I can't tell you how many times I go on your website. I'm curious actually, how similar is it to the internal HeR Interactive wiki?
It's very different.
It is very different.
Very
Okay.
different. So the internal wiki for HeR Interactive used SharePoint, which is a Microsoft product.
Okay.
Which is very, very complex. I mean, I did build 2 complete wiki sites for a few games. I don't remember which ones. I think it was for Stay Tuned for Danger because we just didn't have it,
Right.
and then Secrets Can Kill Remastered and Shadow Ranch Mobile. So it was a very SharePoint was very complex, and the way we had it was not always intuitive. So I thought maybe let's try to make it somewhat easy and do my own version of wiki. By the way I'm doing my wiki is just by making blog posts with links
That's
inside each
brilliant.
one.
That's
I mean,
easy. That's simple. That's all you need to do. If the information's there
Very
and it's easily
user-friendly.
accessible. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect. What are your future plans for Story Retold?
Oh goodness, I would love to grow the channel. I plan on playing all the Nancy Drew games in junior mode, master mode, in other languages because I've got those too.
Right on.
Ooh.
After that, maybe just live stream just to have. I mean, I can't live stream in my capacity right now just because of scheduling. But I also want the channel to have more artistic merchandise. Like I want to make wooden signs that say it's locked. So you could put that on your front door or at the
Oh,
front door someplace. You know, arts and crafts that are similar to the games I play. That
yeah.
would be just fun. So that's that too. What else did I want to do? Oh goodness, there's so many things. Yeah, I want to make like a doodling version of my own strategy guides without creatively using any of the Nancy Drew brand because I cannot make a strategy guide in the Nancy Drew name. It's licensed by Simon and Schuster. I don't have the permission for that. But if I make it very generic and just take you know how you take handwritten notes for the games. I was gonna do that, but like doodle in the Sunny June style.
That's so awesome.
And
Very condensed, simplified. But yeah, all kinds of fun arts and crafts projects and just really add to my website and the channel. All kinds of fun stuff.
That is so cool. I love it. I'm always looking forward to it. When I get excited when I see a new video pop up. So that's great. I'm stoked.
Can I tell a quick fun story real quick before we do like listener questions?
Yes. Yes.
So I started streaming on Twitch in April of 2016, and I remember very early seeing one of my very few viewers, because I'd only run like 2 or 3 a stream at the beginning, but I remember the name StoryRetold being there at the beginning and having zero idea who that was. And then I think it was December of 2016, I was streaming Shadow at the Water's Edge, and you said something in chat and I got suspicious. And I think I sent you a message and I was like, are you who I think you are? And you were like, you sent me like a wink back and I was like, and I was like, I have to keep it cool on stream.
That is awesome.
Yeah, no, I was lurking for years.
Yeah.
I just kept my name hush hush because I didn't want to promote myself over her interactives. So it was just me, just hanging out with the other fans.
That is amazing. That's so cool. Well, I had a similar encounter actually when Argo Fump showed up when I was playing one of the Francie Drew games. I was like, unbelievable. There he is. Yeah. That's so cool though, yeah. Because I remember seeing Story Retold as well, and like when I think you followed me on Twitch like years ago, and I didn't know who it was. I just assumed it was just another person, and you're just like making your underground little connections, and all of a sudden you just like rise up. You're like, it's me, and I was like, oh no, there we go.
No, I keep. This sounds creepy. I keep tabs and I follow a lot of Nancy Drew players and fans who do stuff online. So just to see what they're talking about, what they like, what they don't like, and sometimes I join in chat. And actually, it was fun. Sometimes some streamers don't. When I was working for Interactive, I would hop into a stream who was playing a Nancy Drew game and be like, "Hey, you're doing a really good job with your audience." Developer in chat, hey, do you want an extra code for another game? Just because I like you and I want to give it to you, because I was the one who gave out promo codes to
nice
influencers. So it was just kind of fun. I was using my celebrity status to be like, hey, thanks for playing our games. I'm here. Play on.
Amazing.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's move on to listener questions. So we've got 4 people that sent in questions. The first one, let me see here. The first 7 come from someone named Moira. And the first question is, if you guys could live, we can keep these really simple and quick as well. If you guys could live, this applies to all of us, in anywhere else in the world, where would you live? I'm gonna say for me, it would probably be somewhere in England. Not sure where, but somewhere in England, probably in the country.
I think if I were to pick anywhere in the States, I would pick Orlando because I'm a huge Disney parks fan as well.
Nice.
And so I would want to go like all the time to the Disney parks. But if I were to pick anywhere else outside of the States, I think I would probably want to live in Venice.
Ooh, those are good answers. Goodness, mine is not going to be that exciting. If I could live anywhere, I would probably stay in Washington State. I would just move into a nicer, a particular area called May Valley, and it's in the Issaquah area. It's very nice, but it's also not too far from the cities, near
Oh,
Bellevue,
nice.
actually, where the old HeR Interactive office was. I
Oh,
really
cool.
like Washington. The weather's terrific, but it's also really pretty and peaceful. But if I was to live anywhere, I gotta go with the Cotswolds in England.
Nice. Right on.
Nice.
All right. The next question. I guess we could answer the second half. The first half doesn't really apply to any of us. The first half is, what are you studying in school? I don't think any of us are in school right now. But the second half is, what are you doing for work right now? So Victoria, if you want to start that off.
So I'm still doing some side project production things. I've done a little bit of voiceover work. I spent a few days on set. I did a series of car commercials a couple months ago that are trending throughout the Southeast United States.
That's awesome.
So yeah, just like little stuff like that. And then, but my regular 9 to 5 job is I am a supervisor at an allergy clinic. So that
Nice.
is what I do just during the day.
That's so awesome. I saw your post about that car commercial, or that picture of you
Oh,
posing.
yeah,
in the
yeah.
car. Whatever is it? It was a billboard or just an ad?
Yeah, it was like they took a bunch of stills for like their website and like all their socials and stuff.
That
So
is so cool. That's awesome. So you're acting, yeah?
yeah, when
posing.
I can, not as often as I hope to, but I just take the jobs as they come. So
Well, very cool. Adding to the portfolio. That's good.
yeah,
Exactly, yeah. And Kalina, you mentioned you're working for Microsoft, not directly, but through another company?
Yeah. I work for Hanson Consult Group, which works on support.xbox.com. So when you go to the website for Xbox Help, that's my team who works on that. And when you turn on your Xbox to go to Assist, it's the all of those help articles. That's also part of it. So
Oh,
that's what
cool.
I'm doing now. But I guess you could say what I did study in school was visual communication. I think I mentioned that earlier, which was
Right.
it's pretty much like a graphic design degree, but it was a lot more training, real world training with different kinds of experience points and how to apply art and communications.
Right, okay.
How about
Cool.
you?
Well, I am currently, until I go to Vancouver, I'm currently working at a local toy store, and I work there. I started working there back in 2019, and I've just been working there sort of during the summers, and it's been awesome, and I love it because I'm a huge Lego fan, and we carry Lego. So whenever new Lego orders come in, I'm just as that one villain in Danger on Deception Island says, I was like a kid with a key to the candy store. I just couldn't help myself, and it's awesome. So that's
you
what I
get
do.
that sweet discount.
I do. It's great. I save so much
Love.
money on Lego. It's terrible. My wallet really. I'm not going to survive one of these days. I'm not going to wake up one morning. But it's. Yeah,
Those are
it's
expensive.
so expensive. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that's what I do. The next question applies specifically to Little Jackalope. And this person is just wondering how your kids are doing.
Oh, that's very sweet of them. My kids are crazy, but they're fun. No, they're in the toddler stage and baby stage. Cassian is 2.5. He isn't really talking just yet, but that's okay. He is an absolute sweetheart, and I never thought that I would have a Joe Hardy for a kid. He's practically Joe Hardy, but
That's
very, very sweet.
awesome.
The baby, who is about 10 months old, Benjamin, he's kind of a handful. He's kind of a drama king. So it's like, do I have Frank and Joe Hardy here? It's kind of hard to tell because you're just a baby and you can't really talk and you're complaining about this, that, and the other thing when you don't really need to be complaining. But anyways, I could complain and for posterity's sake, give them a hard time about that.
Of course.
No, they're great. They're healthy. They're a lot of work, which is occupying most of my time aside
Right.
from my full-time job. Once they get older and they can entertain each other and play a little bit better because they're just babies. Once they can play with each other and help mommy out with more baking and stuff, which they absolutely like to do at the moment, I'll be able
Nice.
to have more time to do extra hobbies and arts and crafts and maybe include them in that. And so I don't do too many videos with them, but because I don't know if they will be embarrassed about that in the future. So I don't
Right.
post much just for that sake. But they're great. I really appreciate the question. Thank you.
That's awesome. I gotta say, I think I mentioned it at the time Cassian was born, but that is, again, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I know you are too, and that is so
Yeah.
awesome that you named him after Cassian Andor. That's just so cool.
Yes.
And
Yep.
I always get excited. A smile always shows up on my face when I see on Facebook that you posted a new video called Jedi Training number whatever. Because I'm like,
Oh,
again,
yeah.
you're calling it Jedi Training, and that's just the coolest thing.
Yeah, you
it's
saw
so
that.
cool.
Oh my
I
gosh.
love it. I love it.
I'm thrilled. Yeah, we are huge nerds in my household. I was trying to get I was really rooting for Benjamin's name to be Ben Kenobi, but my
Uh,
husband Andrew was like, that's a little bit too nerdy. So we settled for Benjamin just because we like the name, and then we realized it's also the name of another captain. Well, not captain. Yeah, he is a captain. Captain Benjamin Sisko of Star Trek
Oh, yeah.
DS9.
Okay.
So yeah, we're a bit
That's awesome.
nerdy.
That's so cool, though. I love that. Next question. This one might be a bit longer, but we can cut through this really quickly. Favorite Nancy Drew character or setting, or setting. And Kalina, you can start us off with that one.
Oh boy. I actually have to think about this because this is a tough one.
It's a
Victoria,
very
can you
tough
go-
question.
Can
Okay,
Victoria answer this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Picking a favorite character is incredibly difficult. But I would have to say all the characters from Labyrinth of Lies. I know you're not a huge fan of that game, Hugh, but I absolutely adore Labyrinth of Lies because I adore every single character in that game, and I
Right.
find them all so incredibly fascinating. So pick any of them. As far as setting goes, I mentioned Venice earlier, and I am actually like really interested in seeing Venice one day because of the Phantom of Venice, and I loved that game so much when it came out that it really made me want to go to Venice. So I would say Venice for setting, but also next year I'm really hoping that I can go. I've been saving for a while and planning to do this for like probably a year, but I'm going to try to do it next year and go to Japan.
Nice.
So we'll see if that can happen next year.
Wow.
That is
would
awesome.
be amazing.
That'd be
Oh,
so
goodness.
cool.
Favorite character. That is really hard to choose. Oh gosh, because you could categorize the core characters,
Totally.
an option, or you could limit yourself to all other characters that are not reoccurring to narrow it down. I gotta
So
go.
difficult.
It's so hard. I've got to go with Bess Marvin, just because of with how real she is.
Yeah.
Like she's honest about her shortcomings, and she's a people person, which I am not as good as a people person as I would like to be. 'Cause Bess is just personable, and she's
Yeah.
bubbly, and she's fun, and she's supportive. I love her.
Oh, geez. I think for me, the three that come to my head right now, and again, I haven't thought about this all day, I would choose Alexei Markovic, Deirdre Shannon,
Great.
and Ryan Kilpatrick. I just love interacting with those characters at all times. I just feel like there's never a dull moment with those characters, and I feel like they, especially Alexei, I'm gonna say specifically Alexei, has such an incredible, rich backstory, and his character evolution over the course of Alibi and Ashes is just so cool. It's so awesome.
I think that if I could choose any character to make a reappearance, it would be Alexei.
Totally.
That would be amazing. Unfortunately, the actor had passed away.
I was just gonna bring that up. I know he died in that was 2016, I think, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
so
so
sad.
sad to hear. I did not know that.
Yeah. He did several voices for us, actually.
Oh yeah.
Well, his memory will live on in Alexei, and
Yeah.
I appreciate what he did for that character because he really brought him to life.
He played Marcus in The Captive Curse. He played Alexei in Ash, and he played Gunnar in Sea of Darkness. And I don't know if he played anyone else, but those are the three that I know he played.
Yeah. Yeah. He played Gunnar and also What's the guy that gets kidnapped in Sea of Darkness?
Oh, Magnus.
Magnus, yeah.
Right.
Thank you. He did Magnus's voice too.
So this one, I don't know. I don't know if you can actually like really answer this one, Little Jackalope. But the question is, do you honestly? I'm reading it as it was written. Do you honestly think there will be more Nancy Drew from HeR Interactive, or do you think we've reached the end of an era? Personally, I'm an optimist, and I want to say yes. I would be thrilled if even if they just did one more game and then finished it off there. I personally would be satisfied with that. If they kept going, even better. More power to them. But my personal guess is that we're going to see one more game. And again, I know Kalina, you can't say anything, but either way.
The little that I can say is that I know they are working on it.
Yeah.
That is truth. They were working on it since, oh goodness, I remember we were getting some real hardcore stuff done in January this year.
Oh, really?
That I was involved with. I can't say too much about what that was, but I think they're amping up again this fall.
No way.
With some other things. I do not know what the next steps are. They might have been working on it all this time, but I wasn't involved with that. It was like other things happening in the process that I didn't need to be a part of, so I was working on other things. But yeah, I know they are working on it, and I do not know when they're going to talk about it next. I do know what they have in concept, but that is definitely hush hush.
I am like just thrilled hearing that. Like that's just incredible.
Yeah, just having the confirmation is good. It gives me some hope, and because there was a time where I was a little bit worried, as I would imagine most of the fans were. But yeah, I think we're gonna see another game, and I've gotten way more used to the idea of we may just have to wait for for those updates more than we were before, and that's okay with me, since obviously the franchise means so much to me. I'm ride or die here till the end.
Exactly. Oh, me too.
Yeah, and don't take silence as a bad thing. The communication style, as you know, have changed. So don't take that to me. If you see them posting on social media, they're still around. So something's going on behind the scenes.
Well, I think the reason that you saying that is more reassuring to me than I guess the more standard HeR Interactive response of stay tuned or we are working on something. I think for what you said was that as you were there and as you experienced it, that to me has more, I don't know what the word is. It feels more real and tangible than we're working on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, and it's hard to say the exact same thing over and over again online.
I can't even imagine.
When it looks the exact same way, and you can't hear the tone of my voice when I say, they are working on it, I promise.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah, totally. So, Kalina, I actually was rewatching, I rewatched the interview that I think you did, or that someone did of you for the HeR Interactive channel way back in like 2013 or whatever. And the question came up then of, who do you ship with Nancy, Ned or Frank? And someone has asked the exact same question right now. And this applies to all of us. Who do you ship, Nancy and Ned or Nancy and Frank?
I am a traditional loyalist, and I would have to say Ned. Because
I am the same.
I'm a classic Nancy Drew advocate, but I also understand that the Nancy Drew files took things in a different way, in a different path. And with a whole new Nancy Drew TV series with a CW, they're going like way off path from the original brand. So, I mean, the brand has changed in so many different ways, in so many different platforms. So anything can go. But what it really comes down to is which character do you like and which character would be best for Nancy. Logically, Frank would be the best choice.
Yeah.
But I am classic and loyal to one, so I would just stick with Ned, and rereading the clue in the diary when Nancy meets Ned for the first time, just sharing
I
in
love
her
it.
enthusiasm. It's
Oh yeah, of
touching
course. Yeah.
when she
I
meets Ned.
personally, I'm gonna say both because I agree with both you guys. I think Nancy and Ned like just it just makes sense. That's the way it's been for decades. But again, yeah, like you said, logically, Nancy and Frank makes more sense. So I personally am gonna say both in response to that one.
Now that I'm not an employee of HeR Interactive, I can say my opinion about something here. Can
Go
I
on, go
interject?
ahead.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
I have a big complaint against the designers and the writers and the team for how they wrote Ned Nickerson in all of the Nancy Drew games.
Yes.
To be fair, he's a hard character to write in a meaningful way for an engaging game.
I
To
have had
make him,
Yeah.
yeah, to
I've
make
said
him
this before.
relevant.
Yeah, I've said this before. Ned is not the it is that he is not given the opportunity in most games to really shine in his personality and character. And I think that's why so many people label him as boring. I don't find him
Yes.
boring. I just think he doesn't have the avenue in the same way that the Hardys do in a lot of the games.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, there you go. You heard it here first, folks. That's
And the writers and the designers knew my issue at the time. So like, come on, guys, you can do it.
yeah. That is hilarious. Wow, okay. That's good to know. All right. And the final statement, it's not a question, it's a statement from this one person. We still have a couple more people to go through. Is that they said, love seeing you guys and hope you are doing well. So cheers, Moira. Thank you very much for your questions. The next two questions come from the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Arglefunf. And the first question is, she's listed in the, or Kalina is listed in the special thanks section of the games before she became an official employee. Could she talk about how that came about?
Yeah, the special thanks. The first people that are on the list for the special thanks are typically Simon and Schuster and the people involved with the brand there.
Right.
But it's followed by the investors for the company. And then after that, it's followed by all of the people who are advisory panelists and beta testers. That's what those people are listed. And that's why you see my name and my family's names occasionally in the special thanks section for games 10 on up.
Wow. Okay. Now,
That's so exciting. That's so cool.
That's so cool. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Penny Milliken joined the board of directors around Secret of Shadow Ranch. Did she not?
Maybe.
Because I
remember
her name started showing up in the credits like way back around that time.
She was a board member before she filled the role of CEO. Yeah.
Okay. Next question from Arglefunf is this is great, and so this is kind of sort of something from you. He wants backstory for the flirty girl that you played in Midnight in Salem. It's crazy that she stole Ned's phone to hang up on Nancy, and the game never referenced it again. Did she have did this character have a second scene that got cut, or what happened?
I honestly don't know what the plan was for that character. That was me. Yes, yeah. I'm not accredited to that. I was actually there at the recording studio when we recorded for Olivia. And when she was done, some of the HeR Interactive team members each took turns filling for the voices of the townspeople. And my role was to play the flirty girl who was with Ned. And I think the intention there was to create jealousy for Nancy.
Right.
As a way for the fans to desire Ned back because he's starting to drift away. And I don't know, just to add some drama, really. So I don't think there really is any resolution as much as I pushed for it because it wasn't resolved at the end of the game.
Right.
There was no resolution. I'm hoping that the team adds something like that, or at least a comment about that in the next game or two.
Well, it'd be great if they did, because I kind of agree with Michael. It just like sort of came out of nowhere and was never.
Like the juiciest thing in the whole game.
I know.
Fun fact though, and I think I can say this. Due to production, it wasn't timelines. It wasn't added, but there was supposed to be some like dance music happening, like club dance music, and behind the scenes during that phone call. So Ned was supposed to be at a party or something, and there were girls, and he was just having a good old time. Proof that he can have fun without Nancy. I think that was part of it.
Okay.
And for fun, we were trying to get the Phantom of Venice dance music inserted
I knew it.
in there.
I knew it. Yeah.
Something didn't work out. I think it was like the volume of the bass or something. I don't know. Something about the audio didn't quite work, and it was cut. So it's just
now
their
I'm
audio.
imagining
Was it?
Ned
No.
in a cat suit.
But the music is there. I've heard it.
Is it there really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't remember the music, but I may not have paid well enough attention.
Okay. Let me rephrase that. I love snooping through the game files more than anything. And I've extracted like all the video or visual and audible files from all 32 games, and all the
finding
audio.
stuff I didn't know about.
Well, in the audio files for Midnight in Salem is a sort of it is one of the tracks from Phantom of Venice, but it's got like a phone filter on it.
Yeah.
So I know it exists there, but I'll have to go back and just make sure that, because I'm pretty sure I did actually hear the music while playing the game, but I might have to go and check that again.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right, we got 3 more quick questions here.
Go for it.
Hopefully quick. This next one comes from Devi, and she wants to know more about how the work environment changed after the big layoffs in 2015. So again, I don't know if you can talk about I know you can't talk about the business end of things, but even from your own, from your view of it as it was happening, that'd be pretty cool to hear as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of uncertainty because I didn't know what was exactly happening or what the plan was. We were assured that we were going to look at outsourcing for the next game, but I didn't know when, I didn't know who. So my mission and my focus was to continue engaging with fans and keep promoting the games that were existing. So that's if that's all I could do, I was going to do the best job I could at it until the next game happened. But yeah, like you said, a lot of business stuff I was not privy to, so I don't really know. It was a heavy day, and that was the day I did find out who the egg culprit was. Who kept leaving eggs in
No
my desk
way.
drawers. Yeah, she had to tell me before she left.
It was a she. Okay.
It was a she.
I kind of don't want you to say who it was because I think it's such a great
Yeah,
secret.
we need the anonymity. We need the mystery to still be
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
I will say there were multiple people involved.
Oh,
We can save that story for another time.
The
I can
plot
certainly come back
thickens.
to that.
Yes.
So many stories behind the scenes.
Oh, I
Love to
love
share.
it. That's so great. Okay, and thank you, Debbie, for that question. The last 2 questions come from Logan, and the first of his questions is, "What was your favorite moment from streaming the games for HeR Interactive?"
Oh my goodness. Are you named Logan because you're named after Logan from Shadow of the Water's Edge? Because that would be awesome.
Great.
No, my favorite moment on stream. Oh goodness, there were so many good moments.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, pulling pranks on each other and on the stream, reading out loud people's comments before we came back to live, and just narrating them. It was teasing people was a lot of fun. Giving away prizes was certainly a lot of fun. I want one memorable moment for me was oh goodness, was it a dossier or was it Labyrinth of Lies? It was December 2018, so I got to look up what that was. I had been working with Tess on training her and getting her comfortable and prepared
Yeah.
for live streaming on her own before I went on maternity leave.
Right.
And we started like day 1 with the game, and I had her controlling at the helm, and she was doing a fantastic job, and I was pregnant, and I was letting everyone know, I'm going to be away. Tess is going to take over. And And that very night I gave birth and I was not there the next day.
No
And
way.
Tess took over splendidly for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
And I was able to join in chat as Story Retold for the first time.
Right.
I think I remember
I
that.
do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go back. It was on day 2 of December in 2018. I don't remember which game. I think it was a dossier game.
Oh my
It could have been
word.
Labyrinth of Lies. I don't know.
Wow, that's amazing. You gave birth that day. That's incredible. Holy cow.
That night, it was crazy.
Well, I'm gonna share one of my favorite, probably my favorite moment about all the live streams that I did watch, and that was you and Indy were playing the Haunted Carousel, and oh yeah, I think you guys there's something going on in chat where we were sort of joking about how Nancy is like she has like an infinite like Mary Poppins carpet bag, and she can just sort of go anywhere.
Yes.
And I made a meme of
I remember that.
yeah, I put like Nancy's head from Codes and Clues on Obi-Wan's body and gave that character Mary Poppins' hat in her bag and put like a TARDIS in the background and all this stuff, and I could not tell you how thrilled little 16-year-old me was to see you guys not only share it on Facebook but to show it on stream. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, that is quite possibly the highlight of my life right there.
Oh my goodness.
So
I remember that so well. I think I saved it to my computer here.
Oh, I think that was the highlight of all the streams for me personally. But
I made a Twitch account to participate in her interactive streams. That's why I made a Twitch account originally.
No way.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
really.
Awesome.
That is so cool. Actually, the other highlight for me was you guys giving me the mod privileges as well.
Yeah, same.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
that was amazing. And I think I'm still a mod to this day, but it was I'll tell you what, that nothing could get me more excited than that, and having something that I made showed on stream. Like, that was so cool.
I mean, it's a glamorous title to have, to be sure, but sometimes the work can be pretty intimidating, especially when the crowd is rough. But we have a really good community, and they behave themselves so well. It's
Totally.
like we don't even really need mods with how great our
Yeah,
community is. We did
absolutely.
have some trolling a few times, but
I think
It
there
was
was
only a
only I
couple.
think there's only one time that I actually had to use the mod ability, and that was like over however many streams that you guys did that I showed up for.
Yeah, I only remember one troublesome user
Yeah.
in any of the times that I was there as well.
All right, and the final question, the final listener question, I think this is a great question. Who is one team member you got to work with during all those years? Who inspired you the most?
oh, that's an easy question. That would be Robert Riedel.
Oh,
He was
He's the great.
Yeah. I think you were the one who interviewed him.
I interviewed
not
him
too
and
long ago.
played Stay Tuned for Danger with him, and let me tell you, that was the most incredible experience I've ever done for my YouTube channel.
Yes.
Like, oh my god.
He is very humble,
Mm.
and he does not talk about himself very much. And he also has an incredible poker face, and he does not show emotion as much as some people do. He has a huge history, just experience and skill sets, and he is so talented at what he does. He's done all sorts of things. He's done coding, he's done game design, he's done project management for HeR Interactive and before the Nancy Drew games. He is a very artistic person. He's done theater. He loves birding. He went to school in France. He's fluent in French.
Holy
he plays
cow.
Scrabble in French.
Oh, that's
He
amazing.
is an incredible person, and you wouldn't know it when you first meet him. But he was the one who I was in contact with several years as an advisory panelist.
Okay.
And that's the person I knew to contact when I asked for an internship. And he was the one who brought me on. He was the one who trained me on things. He was the one who taught me things. He's a really good teacher. When it comes to interviewing, though, he does like to fish for certain answers. And it's like, if I could go back during my interview with him and be like,
Yeah.
okay, I know you're asking for something specific. Why don't you tell me what it is you're looking for so I can answer you the way I need to? But Yeah, he's a really awesome guy. So I would say him, and I think I commented on his blog post that he has got a blog someplace. I don't know if he would even remember me.
Oh, he
'Cause
remembered you.
I was,
Oh yeah.
oh, did he?
Yeah, you came up in our interview that we did.
Oh,
Or I think it was the interview, yeah. And I had to, I think, give him a little explanation. He's like, "Oh yeah, of course I remember her." Yeah. No,
he's known a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, it was actually when you asked the questions to be brought up in the interview, and
Oh, that's right.
and then he was like, "Oh yeah, why is she asking? I thought she knew all this stuff."
Of course, I know all
Yeah.
this stuff. I'm prompting him to tell the story.
Oh, exactly. No, it was it was great.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that covers all the questions that we have.
Thank you so much, Kalina, for joining us. It was
Totally.
a pleasure.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I want to come back on again and just chat about Nancy Drew things and stuff.
Yes.
In the future.
Well, we will have you back on in a heartbeat. There is no question about that. And I know personally, I would love to have you on my channel to do even just a playthrough of one of the games, similar to what I did with Robert. I just think that it's just so fun just to go deep into a game and just talk about everything. So if you're ever interested in doing that, then that would be so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I would highly recommend Shadow at the Water's Edge or
Well,
The Captive Curse.
Let's do Shadow of the Water's
or
Edge then.
Silent Spy.
You've given me options here. Very good options too. No, seriously though, like I can't say thank you enough for showing up on the show today. But just for everything you've done and for all the help that you have given me on my channel. And while you're at HeR Interactive, I sent you countless emails, and I was like, I'm just like probably pestering her, and then I'm like, yeah, but this is kind of an important question, and so I'll ask it anyways. And so yeah, it was I really do appreciate everything.
Oh, absolutely. It's been my pleasure. I love communicating with you guys. And I apologize to you. I did not get back to all of your emails. I know you were asking about a few things like the stationery, which I did not have access to at the time. I think that would have been my answer, but I didn't respond back to.
Yeah, no, I figured.
yeah.
Yeah, that's totally. I knew that with you guys having a smaller team, I'm sure there was more things for you guys to be dealing with and for you guys to cover. So, I would go into an email expecting either no response or not a response for a while. Nothing against you, obviously, because I just know how busy you guys are. But
it was totally the busyness. I wish I could have gotten back as fast as I could have because
No,
there were
no,
some
no,
fun
don't
projects
worry.
I wanted to get. Yeah.
No, it's all good. Yeah. Well, I gotta say, this was just phenomenal to talk and have you on the show. But yeah, so anyways, thank you all on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts for listening, because the show is currently on Spotify and iTunes and Google Podcasts and tons of other platforms that I was putting together the thumbnail for the video today, and I was like, oh yeah, we're on this and this and this, and I completely forget what they're all on. But Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, I guess is what it's called. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Check us out on all of those. Give us a rating. You can find Kalina on YouTube and Instagram at StoryRetold and at her website, www.calinaherman.com. You can find Victoria on Twitter and Twitch.tv, both under the username VBudkey. And you can find me on YouTube at Nancy Drew Walkthroughs, on Instagram at ND Walkthroughs, and my website, www.ndwalkthroughs.ca. And our theme song is called Nancy Drew by Mecca. And I gotta say, I want to have him either on just an interview or on the show, because he reached out to me. He's an incredibly nice guy, and he said that he wrote the theme song. He didn't even know what Nancy Drew was. It was more, I think he said about a girl that he liked, that he was trying to talk to, and he just like compared her to Nancy Drew in some way. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So yeah, theme song is Nancy Drew by Mecca, and we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. I'm sure you guys have heard that more than enough. Kalina, thank you so much. Victoria, thank you so much. And to you listening, thank you so much. If you sent in a question and if it got answered, thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate that. and I hope to see you guys around the internet. And that's about it. Thank you all for listening, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Stay sleuthy.
Maybe you could be my Nancy Drew, but it ain't no mystery that I fancy you. And I could be the Shaggy to your Scooby-Doo. Me and you together, baby, we can't lose. My Nancy Drew.